Stay in school, kids. Otherwise, you'll find yourself late at night in a garage tearing apart a power hammer for a YouTube video. Hey, YouTube. We are just going to jump right back into this. We're going to keep tearing down the power hammer. We got that far last night. We're back out here again, and we're going to see if we can get it apart without hurting ourselves. So let's get started. All it takes. Let's see if it's enough to get that other one off. Oh, shoot. There it goes. All right. There it is. Woo! Yeah. I'm going to take a look at that. It's close. It's just got some little raised bit somewhere. normally on a piece of equipment like this, when you have, especially things like babbits and stuff of that nature that have been poured, you know, these things are, like even shell bearings, if you're reusing them and that kind of stuff, they're kind of worn in one way. So you want to put them back exactly the way they were. Normally what you do is you mark the cap and stuff. And this one here has been, I suspect these were recently, I don't think these have had a lot of use. I don't think we're going to have to redo the babbits. I think the babbits are going to be good. They're going to need new shims, but what I noticed is this got a center point, or a center punch mark there, center punch mark there, and that is actually how it came off. So my suspicion is that these have already been done recently. This one here has one here, and again, that's how it came off. And we're going to put the bolts back in it and that kind of stuff, but that's, yeah. So I'm thinking I don't have to redo the babbits, but that doesn't mean there's any less work. Is that even tight? When tearing something like this apart, you'll find these little things that you wouldn't expect. These are shims of some sort, and for some reason, not entirely certain what. The obvious is that it's to shim this bracket out, and you may be able to shim it this way, but I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time figuring why that would be important with something that, you know, of this design, so I'm going to have to give that some thought, but I do want to make note that I have them, or that they were on it. I mean, I don't think I should reuse them, because they're falling apart, but we want to make note that they were here. And when we go to reassemble, we may need to put some new ones back. Well, there it is. It's all stripped down. Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good news, of which there is, I have found no damage to the casting anywhere. So that's a good thing. That means that I don't have, you know, like if this thing were broken off, I'd have to figure a way to repair it, or if there was major damage to this, I'd have to repair it. This bracket here, that's the support for the main axle, flywheel, and you know, crank or whatever, it's in good shape. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let's take a look at the ugly. All right. So the ugly, the spring. I mean, this is obviously not supposed to be twisted like that. I'm going to first see if I can find a replacement, followed by if I can find someone that is willing to repair it, and if I can't find somebody, then I guess I'm the one that's going to repair it, which I'm not sure that's within my skill set, but you know what? can't make it worse. All of these little links, they're clapped out. We'll make new ones. There's a small end, and then there's a big end. The big ends on a few of them are like this, all elongated. You can see some of these pins. They are really worn. Look at that. That is unbelievable. That's just, this thing has been used a bunch. This mechanism here, this is what adjusts the throw of the arm, so that, you know, so you adjust the height. You know, the bottom end obviously attaches to the crank, and then you move this up and down on the shaft, and that affects how far the hammer moves. Now, what's interesting is this thing has been adjusted all the way to the bottom. I suspect that is to take up the slack from all the wear. These plates are all, they look like they're all 3/8 inch plates. I could draw these up, you know, remeasure where all these holes are, the sizes, and I could probably send this to plate processing at my local steel yard, and they would plasma cut some new ones. I think we'll just make them here. Same with these plates here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this hole used to be round, I'm sure. You look at the other side and you can see just an enormous amount of wear. Same with this one. Same story, just a lot of wear. And what was wearing there are these arms. So these arms, again, I'm not entirely certain. These are likely to be the biggest problem. The holes are grossly elongated. There's a lot of wear on that. And my suspicion, what I'm thinking at the moment is that I will need to build this all back up, and I can, this is forged steel, it's not cast iron, so I can build that up with weld metal, and then we'll machine it back down and then rebore it so that the bore is parallel to this bore, and the same with this one here, which interestingly enough, it has a bushing. It looks like, I don't know if that's factory or not, but at some point somebody's put a steel bushing in here. It may be from the manufacturer that way. I don't know. These bushings, or these ends here, the small ends, where the top of the link mounts, they're actually in pretty good shape. They could probably, I mean, they're not perfect or anything, but they're not worn to an exaggerated level like so many of the other points. The same with this. These bores here don't appear to be excessively worn. At some point we'll make a decision as to whether or not we want to ream those out and sleeve them with some bushings. I don't know. That might be the way to go. Yeah, this guy here, this is obviously worn, but it's worn on the pin. And hang on, let's take you over here. The pin is worn for the main. This is the bar, the hammer bar or whatever, the Helve. This bore here seems to be pretty okie dokie. I mean, it's rusty, but we'll clean that up and get a better look at it. I still don't have the weight and the top die out yet. I might fool around with that here in just a few minutes. And finally, the flywheel and pulley assembly. I haven't taken it completely apart yet. I don't see any damage really on the shafts of anything of any significance. It appears that at some point someone redid the babbits. Yeah, so it's actually probably all. No, that has to unbolt. Yeah, so I don't have this all part yet. This is all part of the clutch system. Yeah, so we'll deal with that later. I don't suspect there's any issues with it, but anyway, it's like so much of the rest of it, probably needs cleaned and put back together. So the conclusion is this poor power hammer was used and used hard. This was not somebody's pet. This was somebody's actual working tool. It's got a lot of wear. And my suspicion is a lot of what I'm seeing is decades of repairs. You know, it's this loosened up, we tightened it this way, we fixed this, this was doing this, we did that. And it happened over literally decades. I mean, this thing is potentially 100 years old or older. So we're going to try and bring life back into it. I'm going to do my best to do it as close as possible. That's where we're at on this. Tomorrow, we're working on Rusty. We're going to start taking the, barring anything unforeseen, I have time, and we're going to pull the fuel tank and the fuel lines, the brake lines, the drive shaft, get everything out of the way so we can cut that frame on the Mazda and start taking measurements so that we can stretch it. So that's tomorrow's project. So anyway, until then, bye. What in the world is that? That is weird. I know you people think I'm doing this for your benefit, recording all this. No. I'm doing this for my benefit so that I might have a chance of putting this all back together again.